Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Welcome to another Youth Night at Brother Hood Boxing. As you know, guys, every week we've got an important lesson. Today's important lesson is about bike safety. You can all see your bike in front of me. We want to say thank you to our amazing brother Tariq. Everybody give Tariq salams. So Tariq, you've joined us today at our Brotherhood Boxing Youth Program, and you do an important workshop on bike safety. Just before we start, if you want to come closer, can you tell us what the importance of bike safety is, please, and why?
For bike safety, really, if you know what to do on a bike, it can save your life. And that's the important thing, because just like a car, when you're on a bike, you're moving, and sometimes you're moving at a high speed. So if you don't know your basic bike safety rules, and you have a crash or something simple happens that can be avoided, you can get seriously injured or you can have a crash. On the other side, if you know your basic bike safety rules, you can have a lot of fun on the bike, especially if you're going with your friends or a lot of people.
Amazing. So we've got a workshop we're going to run today. Also, when you're ready, Brother Tariq.
Yep. So over here is just a list of topics that we're going to cover today. So these are the main topics. Thank you very much. So these are the main topics that we want to cover. These problems here, or these issues that I've put here, are things that you're going to encounter on a day-to-day basis when you're riding your bikes. And as I mentioned before, it can save your life. So it's very important that you listen, but it'll only go on for about 20 minutes. So the first one is helmet. A helmet, if you have an accident, it can reduce a serious injury by up to 74%.
Tariq, can I just say, I had a look at that helmet earlier, and it's really light. So even if they're light, they can still be safe?
Exactly right.
Is there something that we're supposed to look out for to see if it has got the standards for Australian safety?
Yes. Now, good question that you raised. Now, on the inside, you can see that there's certain stickers here which say that these helmets are met by Australian standards. Now, when it comes to bikes, Australian have high standards, and that's for your safety, not for anything else. Now, as Brother Shuv mentioned, these helmets are quite light, so they're not going to cause an injury to your neck, or they're not going to cause a pain to your head. They're quite light, and literally they can save your life, and I will touch on that point a little bit later. Now, a helmet, really, you just want to loosen this up. Some of them have this feature, some of them don't. You just grab the straps on the side, make sure it fits tightly onto your head. You want to make sure it's tight at the back, and you want to clip this in place. Now, if this is not clipped and you're riding and the helmet falls off, well, it's not going to protect you. But if the helmet is clipped on and this is nice and tight, la samah Allah, if somebody does fall off, this helmet is going to protect them.
Tariq, how would you know what size helmet is right for you?
Now, most shops will tell you. So this here is a large helmet. It's got the size written on the inside. You can get a small, you can get a medium, you can get a large, and you can get a kid-size helmet. So bike shops, there's normally some of the workers that know a lot about bikes. They'll look at you and say, I know exactly what helmet that you need. If you go to Big W or Target or Kmart, they normally have them on the shelf. You can pick them up and you can put them on your head, and mum and dad can have a look as well and make sure that this...
Is it important to wear a helmet at all times? If I'm just riding 2 minutes down to the shop to grab my mum some milk, do I still have to wear a helmet?
Okay, so helmets are like your seatbelts. A car accident can happen anytime, and a seatbelt can save your life. So with the helmet, all you need to do is go over the curb, fall the wrong way, and you can have an accident. It literally takes 1 or 2 seconds. And I've got 2 videos at the end to answer your question, Shuv, of how an accident can happen without even realizing it. Plus, it's Australian law that you wear the helmet. So if you're not wearing a helmet, and even if you're going down the road to get milk and the police sees you, they can pull you over and give you or mummy and daddy a fine. I think it's about $200 or $300.
Well, on the spot?
On the spot. Wow. So a helmet costs about $30 from Big W. Some of the good ones cost about $80, $90. It's a lot cheaper than paying $300 for a fine, and you won't even have a helmet afterwards.
The police are not there to find you, they're to make sure that you're safe in general,
exactly,
right?
Because as we mentioned, a helmet can save your life, so the police wants to ensure that your safety is the most important thing. Because if you do fall over, and we have seen it, and I've got a video of somebody falling over on our bike rides, you can get seriously injured without a helmet. Plus, I just want to mention something. A belt is also part of Australian law. So you can get different types of belt. I've got one here. You just a simple belt. So if you're riding on the street and you've got some people in front of you, you just click the belt and they'll move out of your way. So it's quite important. It only costs $2, $3, or $4. You can attach it to your bike, and that way you don't have
That's
to...
better than screaming and yelling or whistling.
It's better than screaming and yelling. So if you're riding and there's an old man and his wife walking, you don't want to say, hey, get out of the way. You just ring the bell, they'll hear, they'll move out of the way, and everyone...
Do you know, Tarek, that makes sense, because normally when people hear a bell, they normally know it's an alarm sign.
Yeah.
And they'll generally look around, and then they'll move out of your way if they see a bike is coming.
Exactly, exactly. And there's no way of the people knowing that you're behind them, because the bikes are quite... they're quiet, they haven't got a motor. So with the bell, it's like an alarm sign. They'll look, they'll see you riding, they'll move out of your way. And Australian law, a new law says, if you are under 16, you are allowed to ride on the footpath.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to ride on the road. If you're under 16, which most of you here are, you can ride on the footpath. And it's very safe to ride on the footpath. You get your bell, you get your bike, you get your helmet, and everyone is happy.
Okay.
Now, just with the helmet, my last point is, what does a head injury look like? One of our friends, his name is Al. He fell down and he had a crash. Now,
ouch.
Al did have a helmet. And as you can read at the top, the helmet saved Al's life. Okay? This happened, I think it was in 2015. We rode to the city, to Martin Place. On the way back, Al fell over, he had a crash, he hurt himself. You can see the photo, he was in hospital. So Al stayed in hospital. His brain had a little bit of swelling, so it was painful. But if he didn't have the helmet, Al probably wouldn't be with us.
I've noticed that the injuries are here, not where it's important on the brain, where it can be irreversible injuries.
Exactly. So if your brain has if your eye gets swollen, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it goes down. But if your brain gets swelling, then maybe you can suffer some permanent injuries. And that's something that really we don't want, and the doctors don't like when your brain is swollen.
That's a really good point, Tony.
Okay, so the next point is lights. Now, why are lights important? So let's look at my bike over here, for example. Okay, I'm going to turn this light on. Now, so you can see what's happening here. I have a light on. Now this light, when I'm riding, look, right now it's dark outside. So if I'm riding outside, what does the light do? It allows the cars to see you. So if you don't have a light, the cars may not be able to see you. And if you're riding along and the car cannot see you, it can crash into you and you can fall over and hurt yourself. But if you've got the light on, then the car will see you and the car will move around you.
Not only overtake you, Tariq, you might see a caution in front of you and you might want to stop, and that car hasn't seen that you stopped and
exactly
it'll
right.
run straight into you.
Exactly. So you could be riding on a footpath, there could be a post or a hole, and you want to press in your brakes. If the car does not know that, it can hit you. But with the light, the car can see you moving quick and moving slow.
So on a push bike, the red light doesn't mean stop, like on a car?
No, the red light doesn't mean stop, because we don't have brakes, we don't have foot brakes on our bikes.
Yep.
That just allows the motorist to know that you're there and
Yep.
they can safely move around you.
Excellent, thank you very much.
And we have lights at the front. So outside it's very dark. So if I'm riding, I don't want to ride into a hole, because you can see the tyres are quite skinny. So I've actually taken this off just so I can show what a bike light looks like. And some of them are very strong. You press the button,
Oh, wow.
and it's quite strong. So what you want to do, you want to be able to see in front of you. Is there any rocks? Because you don't want to ride over a rock. Is there any poles? Is there any rubbish? Or is there any cracks or in the holes? If you've got the light on, it allows you to see that and you can move around it. If you don't have the light, you can't see that. And unfortunately, a lot of people have run into holes or rocks and fallen over and hurt themselves.
So do you have to have that on by law, or is that a safety?
Now, this is not a requirement by law. So if the police drives past and you don't have a light, that's okay. But it's an added safety measure.
But
so
that can change in the future too, Tariq. They might add that.
It can. We don't know. But at the moment, we have to think of our own safety. So when we go riding, we want to have fun. We don't want to get hurt. We don't want to get injured. So it's important to make sure you have your belt, you have your back light, you have your front light, and most importantly, you have your helmet on. Okay. Now, that's about lights. Now, high-vis clothing. So, high-vis clothing means high visibility. Visibility means what you can see. Why is that important? I'm going to show you why that's important. Now, Shuv, I want you to shine this light on my back. Now, what can you see happening on my back here?
You can see the two white lines are reflecting.
Now, if I'm outside and it's 8 o'clock at night, or right now it's 7 o'clock, and a car light is shining on my back.
Well, we can switch off the lights now. Mother, can you switch off the lights right there for 1 second? Who can tell me what you can see, guys? Put your hand up.
So if I'm riding my bike with
His vest is lighting up.
His vest is lighting up. Yep, we can see that, Tariq.
So at night time, do you think the car can see you?
No.
So if the lights are flashing on my vest here, can the car see you?
Yes.
So if the car sees you, is it going to hit into you or is it going to go around you?
Around.
Okay, and if it goes around you, it means everybody is safe. It means mum and daddy are going to be happy because you're going to go get your milk or have your exercise and come back and everybody is safe. So that's why it's important. This only costs $5. You can get some special ones or you can get some cheap ones. I like this one because it's not heavy. You can just clip it on and you can just clip it off. It's very light, it's very cheap, and it does the job.
And that's Australian standards, of course, too.
Yeah,
Tariq?
yeah.
Okay.
This is Australian standard. A lot of things you don't have to go and pay a lot of money. Lights, you can get them for $15, $20. These you can get them for $5. Helmets, you can get them for $30.
Just over there, just over there.
Okay.
That's how we'll keep going.
Well, what's that noise?
Okay.
So,
Turn it up! Turn it up!
a saddlebag. So what's a saddlebag? Who knows what a saddlebag is?
What is a saddlebag, guys? Yes?
It's a thing that keeps your
The seat?
feet up.
I'm a little bit confused. What is a saddlebag?
Okay, so that's a good point. A saddle is the seat that you sit on, but the saddlebag is the bag that is underneath your seat. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what's in my saddlebag. Okay, let's hope I didn't pack anything tricky in here.
I hope there's food in there because I'm hungry.
Well, I might not have food, but I've got some money in here, so when we go bike riding, we can go and buy a muffin, buy a donut, or buy a coffee,
Or a
and
bottle
half
of water.
Or a bottle of water. Okay, so I've got some gas canisters which helps pump up the tyre, and I can give you a demonstration of what this does in a few moments.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to mention this point a little bit later, but let's say I'm riding and I have a flat tyre. Okay, maybe I ran over a nail or a staple. I need a spare tube. Now sometimes it's a little bit hard putting the tube in your pocket and cycling. So what do? We put it in the saddlebag. And the saddlebag allows the tube to sit in there comfortably. Plus, I've got my bicycle repair kit. So these little levers are used to take the tyre off and on.
Tariq, why would it be important to have tubes and a repair kit with you?
Okay, so Shuv, let's say your mum said, Shuv, can you go to Big W and buy me some milk?
And they always do that.
And they always do that.
Yep.
So you're going to Big W and you go over a rock and your tyre goes flat and you don't have your phone on you or you have no
You don't want to carry this all the way home.
You don't
do
want to carry this all the way home.
Yep.
And what happens if you ride on a flat tyre? You're going to wreck the rims and you might need a new bike and mum and dad are going to be upset because they have to pay.
So you can damage your bike by riding on a flat tyre.
You can definitely damage your bike.
Is it unsafe as well to ride on a flat tyre?
It is unsafe because when this bends, it can make you fall over. And if you fall over, you can hurt yourself. You can scratch yourself or you can break your arm.
It's also imbalanced, yeah?
It's also imbalanced, especially if there's a downhill. Because on downhills, you can pick up a lot of speed and you don't want to do that when your tyre is flat. So that's why it's important to carry a spare tube, to carry these plastic bits, which are called levers, to take your tyre off. And really, I'll show you in a moment. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. If we have time, I'll show you. Okay, so something fell down. Okay, so this is a little bit that we put on the nozzle, which I'll show you about it in a few moments.
Okay, excellent. We'll ask questions later, yeah? Wait till the end.
Yeah, so I've got a section at the end where we're going to ask questions. And you can put your house keys inside the saddlebag. You can put your phone. If mummy and daddy say, take my phone and go get some milk. You know, if you have an ID card, you can put it inside, just in case something happens and you need some ID. So you can put a lot of things in there. Unfortunately, you can't put a sandwich in there. I tried it and it doesn't fit. Unless you eat half and you put
What
it
about a
over.
mobile phone?
You can definitely put a mobile phone in there.
So if you need to call for safety, tell mum you're running late, you've got a puncture, so your mum and dad don't worry about you?
Exactly. So if you don't have this and you have a saddlebag, you can put the phone in there, call mum and dad, and they can come in their car and they can take it home.
You can also pack your high vis in case you're going to ride during the day and come back at night, right? You can
Exactly. So it's a very good idea to take this off, fold it, and put it in here. So if you're riding in daytime, you really don't need this, but at night time you can unzip it, put it on, and continue riding, and everybody's happy and safe. So, fixing a chain. Now, whenever we go bike riding, this is something that happens almost every single time. And what's that? Is a chain falls off.
Hands up if your chain's fallen off your push bike when you're riding.
Yeah. So everybody here. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to put your chain back on. And all chains are the same. So even if your bike doesn't look like this, all bikes are the same. So the best way to do it is go in a safe area. So go on a footpath somewhere where people are not walking and there's no cars. Put your bike upside down so you don't have to worry about balancing your bike. So now your bike is upside down. Okay? So I can push my bike, we know it's going to stay safe over here. Now over here, most bikes have something like this. Now you see how this bends backwards and forwards. Now, if I do this, right now what I've done is I've taken my chain off. So that's what a chain off the bike looks like. And it's dangerous riding like that because if that gets caught, you will get stuck and you can flip over and land on your head. And we don't want that to happen. So right now I'm riding and my chain falls off. And I know because it feels funny here, I look down and the chain's off. So what do? I find a safe area. I flip my bike upside down. I pull this section back. So now I have some room. You just get your chain, put it from the bottom, and then you just connect it onto the ring and you twist and it's back on.
Sorry, Tarek, you keep mentioning move to a safe area.
Yes.
And you've said it a number of times. Obviously, that's important.
Yes.
So if I'm on the road and my chain falls off my bike, why can't I turn my bike upside down the road and fix it there?
Okay, because when you're riding, you're moving, the car can see you, and you're moving together in the same direction. But let's imagine there's a corner, or let's say sometimes the person driving is playing with his radio, or I know we're not allowed, but sometimes people talk on the phone and they don't see you, that can hit you. So what you want to do is, you want to make sure you are safe. So whenever you're riding, you want to make sure you are safe at all times. That's why we wear the helmet, that's why we wear the high vis, that's why we have the lights. So if you have your chain that come off the bike, make sure you are safe. Go to the most comfortable area, and sometimes it's a little rest as well. So if you're tired, you go to somewhere safe. Make sure no cars can hit you, and make sure no one walking can hit you as well. So for me, it took me about 5 seconds. Maybe it takes you 2 minutes. At least you know there's no danger.
And if you ride a BMX, it's the same principle?
Exactly the same.
Okay.
Because all bikes have this little bit here where you can bend it and then you can fix the chain.
Because I'm really short. I can't ride these big bikes. I've got to ride one of those small ones.
Well, luckily this bike here, you can make the seat go up and down, as most bikes, but all bikes have that little feature. So what you do, you look for the back, you bend this height inside, that just gives you a lot more movement, and you connect it at the bottom. So my chain is off. Connect it here. Make sure it sits on the teeth.
Wow, that's
And
simple.
my chain is back on. The only problem is you get your hands dirty.
Ooh.
But you can wipe it on the grass and you can clean it up and everybody is happy. That's another reason why it's good to go in a safe area. So, we've looked at fixing a chain. Now, pumping up a tyre. Can I ride if the tyre is flat? No, you cannot.
Can you ride with the tyre flat, guys?
No!
Okay, if the tyre is flat, now I'm going to take this bit off here.
What? You're going to make it flat?
I'm going to make it flat, Shuv, because we need to show these people here what to do in case they have a flat tyre. So, so now we can see my tyre is flat. Imagine if I'm sitting on the bike and this is bent like that. That's not very safe.
That looks really dangerous.
Now you know what else can happen, Shuv?
Yep.
Now we press it like this, but sometimes it can bend sideways.
Oh, wow.
And look what happens here. This can scratch on the floor and you can fall over really hard.
Wow.
And if you fall over really hard, that's extremely dangerous.
Wow.
We've seen our mate Al, he fell off really hard. You can scratch your face, bruise your eyes, break your nose, or you can hurt yourself.
Oh, we don't want that.
No. So, what we have here, we have a pump. Now, most people are not going to carry this with them, so I'm not going to show you how to pump this up.
Yeah, no, that's way too big. That's almost as tall as me.
what you can do is you can buy a little strap and attach it to your bike.
I've seen them at Kmart, they're only a couple of dollars.
Yeah, they're only about $10, okay? And you can put this in your pocket, in your back pocket, or you can attach it like I did. And it's got a little nozzle where you can take it out, screw it here, and pump your bike up. But I've got something really special for you guys today. I'm going to show you what this does. This is my best friend. You know why? Because in 10 seconds, this tyre is completely flat. It'll pump it all the way up.
Wow, it is too.
Does anybody want to have a feel to make sure? This is not
Just one guy, come on, have a feel.
Come up, have a feel. This is not a magic trick.
Yeah? Alright, take a seat. Now let's see how quick this fills up. Alright, have a feel, have a feel. Have a feel. Is that flat?
Not bad.
Yep, go back and sit down.
So, what you do, this costs about $20. Make sure it's closed. Now what I like doing,
that little can's going to fill up this whole
that
time.
little can is going to fill up the tyre.
What?
So, I screw this on.
How is that little can going to fill up that big tyre? Who thinks it's going to do it?
Is it not gonna waste?
I don't think it is.
Is it not gonna waste?
That looks like toothpaste.
No.
Okay, this is actually...
What if you all refill?
What is that called, Tariq?
Now, this is called a CO2 canister, which means carbon dioxide.
And where can we buy them from, Tariq?
You need to buy this from a bike shop. You can't buy this from Kmart or Big W, unfortunately, Shuv.
Okay.
You need to go to a bike shop. There's one at 99 Bikes in Lipton, which is the closest one, or there's other ones. You can ask mum and dad to buy it off the internet.
Wow, let's have a look how this works, guys.
So, I've made sure this is off. I've screwed it in, and then I'm going to screw this part
Should I
in.
move out of the way? Is this going to
No,
like...
this is very safe.
I'm scared.
No, there's no need to be scared. So, now the seal is open, and I'll tell you what, Shuv, I've done this a lot of times.
Yeah.
Why don't you pick someone to open up?
Do you know what? I can come up here.
No, you can't.
Come on this side. Come on this side. Yep, now wait for my Tariq and
Yeah,
I'll show you
I
wait
want
for
you
my noise.
to turn this around that way. More. Turn it down.
Watch this, guys.
Yep, more.
I'm scared.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, even 5. I said 10 seconds. I was wrong.
Wow.
In 5 seconds. Have a look at this. Feel this.
Rock hard.
So imagine if you're riding a little bit
Take a
fast
seat, take a seat.
and you're tired. And you're tired. You don't want to grab a pump and start pumping it up. So you can get this. Now,
Pay attention,
Shuv,
guys.
can you get me someone else?
Someone else. Yep, you pick someone, Tariq.
How about that little guy there? I like him.
One in the blue and yellow shirt. Come here.
Come. I want you to feel. He's been concentrating really good all day
Everyone
today.
else quiet, please. Come on, you're doing good.
Now feel this. What does this feel like?
Feels cold.
It feels cold. So it actually feels cold. Okay?
What does that mean?
Well, that's what happens to carbon dioxide. Is it gets cold once it's released.
And
Now,
automatically adjust the pressure for you?
automatically adjust the pressure. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Everybody, you can have a seat, Habibi. Now you can pass this on so everybody can.
Yeah, we'll pass it around, let everybody have a feel. Can I have a feel, guys? Wow, that's cold. Pass it around, let everybody feel that.
So that's how to change. That's how to pump up the tire.
Yep.
Okay. And we demonstrated that. Now, when should I slightly flatten my tire?
Guys,
So this is a very important question.
we'll pass it here.
Now, as you've seen over here, I can make my tire a little bit flatter. When should I do that, Shuv?
When you're sitting on it?
No.
Okay.
When it's raining outside. Because when it's raining outside, you want your tire to be a little bit flatter. Because when it's a little bit flatter, when you're riding, you
More
have
grip.
more grip on the floor.
Oh.
Because once it's fully pumped up, the tire becomes a bit skinnier. Once you flatten it a little bit, the tire becomes a bit fatter and it's a lot safer. Yes.
How do you just click that in?
Come, have a look.
Just one of you.
Just push it up. Push.
You'll take a seat. So at the end of
It's
this
very
talk,
easy.
at the end of this talk, Brother Tariq's going to stay here for 10 minutes. And he's going to all come up and have a feel and a play, okay? Let's get
Now,
going.
changing the tube, we might do this a little bit later, Shuv,
Yep.
because it takes about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So if we have time,
Yep.
I'll show you how to get this, and you can put it in here, you can take the tire off, and you can put it
Maybe
back
we
on.
can do it after prayers,
We
inshallah.
can do it after prayers, inshallah, so that's not a problem.
Okay.
Now, safe riding practices, this is important. If you're under 16, you are allowed to ride on the footpath. This is a new rule that came out 2 weeks ago.
So if you're under 16,
Yes.
you can ride on the footpath.
You can ride on the
Day or
footpath.
night.
Day or night.
Okay.
Especially at night time because you want to be safe. Okay. Now, your instructions if you're turning left or right. So what do I mean here? If I'm riding on the footpath and there's people behind me or in front of me and I'm going to turn left, what I can do is I can say left and point to the left. That way everybody knows where I'm going, so you don't crash into anybody.
Tariq, do I have to be on a certain side of the footpath or anywhere on the footpath?
It's better to be on the left-hand side.
Okay.
So just like when you're walking, it's better to be on your left-hand side. Okay, and you want to indicate left or right. Let's say me and Shuv and you guys are riding. Now if I'm riding and I turn left and you guys don't know, you guys can fall over and you guys can crash into each other. But if I'm riding and I point left, then everybody knows I'm going to turn left. That gives you the chance to press on your brakes, slow down, and we can all turn left very easily and very comfortably, and nobody has to have an accident. Because that's what we try and do. Remember what I said before, when we are riding, we have to make sure you are safe at all times. Okay? Now, if I'm cycling on the road, now helmets save lives. Okay, we mentioned this. I've got a funny video why you should wear a helmet. Because sometimes things happen that we don't know. Sometimes, for example, I got attacked by a magpie once. I didn't put the video here because it's too long. But I'm going to show you something that's a little bit funny. And you're going to go, yes, lucky they had a helmet on. But something to remember when you get older. If you are cycling on the road, always stay on the left-hand side. And I'm going to show you a video of that as well. Riding formation. So if you're riding on the road, you don't want people everywhere. You want to just stay neatly in 2 lines. Like you're standing in assembly at school. Okay, maximum 2 abreast. That means 2 people are next to each other. You are not allowed to ride 3 or 4 or 5 people next to each other, and do not run red lights. So if it's a red light, you stop. If it's green, you go. If there's a stop sign, you stop. If there's a giveaway sign, you give way.
So even if we're riding on the footpath, we still got to follow the road rules.
You still have to follow the road rules.
Okay.
So if you're on the footpath, you follow the normal rules that you follow on the footpath.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're on the road, you have to follow the rules that are normal paths. Let's leave questions to the end, because I know lots of people have questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So this video, for some reason,
Doesn't matter, we'll keep moving.
okay. So the video is not working.
Okay. We can get the photos. There we go.
Okay. So this is a photo of us riding. This is what we call formation. Formation is where we are riding 2 next to each other on the left-hand side of the road.
Why do we do that, Tariq?
Well, we do that because, remember, cars need some space to move as well. So if a car is coming, the road is there to share. So we need to use a part of the road, and the car needs to use a
So
part of the road.
formation means we've got 2 straight lines going all the way across.
Exactly.
And we're also more visible to cars driving around because we're in a big pack.
We're in a big pack.
Okay.
So, and when we ride together, the car only has to overtake us once. If we have a group here, a group there, and a group there, once the car overtakes the first group, there is a chance it can crash into the second group. So we all want to be safe. We don't want cars to crash into us, so we want to make sure we're riding in formation, and that way, and you can see the person at the back, he's getting ready to indicate a certain sign, and normally the people at the back are the ones that call out instructions, slow down, speed up, etc. Okay, any questions?
Yes.
Is it question time, Tariq?
It's question time.
Okay, guys, so who have you got a question? Put your hand up and you've got to be really loud. But you've got to say your name first. Yes, sir. Your name?
Right.
Ismail, what's your question?
Do you ride on the footpath or the road?
Do you ride on a footpath or the road, Tariq?
Well, I'm over 16 years old, so I ride on the road. But when I ride on the road, I like riding with my friends.
If you're over 16, are you allowed to ride on the footpath?
Now, if you're over 16, you're not allowed to ride on the footpath.
Okay.
Okay, but I think if you're riding at night time, it's safe to ride on the footpath, as long as you do it slowly. Because remember, there's people walking, you don't want to crash into it.
Next question. Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you're riding a bike, so when your wheels are like, not that flat, but
They're
just a little
soft?
bit flat,
Yep.
yeah, do you still have to pump them or no?
So the question is, if your tyres are not at the comfortable pressure you normally ride at,
Yep.
would you stop and pump them or can you still keep riding?
Okay, so what I have this at home. So before every ride, I have a look and I say, this is a little bit flat, and I pump it up. Because if you don't pump it up, it makes riding a lot slower, and you can wear out the tyre a lot faster. So if the tyre is pumped up, it saves you money because it lasts a lot longer.
That's a really good question. Any more questions, guys? We've 3 more questions. Yes, sir.
When you go to track, you get to put your bike inside your track.
When you what?
When you wanna take your bike riding, you can put, if you have a track and a draw.
Okay, so it's asking when you finish bike riding, where's an appropriate place to park your bike?
Okay, so I have what they call a bike rack. So at the back of my car, I attached a little rack. It costs about $200, but the bike sits on it. Now, some people, what they do, some of these bikes, you can open up this lever, turn it,
Oh, wow.
turn it 8 times.
Oh, wow.
The wheel comes off,
What?
and then you can put this in the back seat. Okay? Yes, very light.
You can have a feel of that when we finish.
Okay.
Any more questions,
But
guys?
if you have a truck or a ute, you can put the bike in your car. Just make sure this bit here is always facing upwards. We don't want that to bump into the ground.
Any more questions? 2 more. Yes, sir.
What if you're trying to cross
What's your name, please? Yep. What's your question?
if you're trying to cross the road,
Okay, so if you're on a push bike
Yes.
and you're riding a footpath and you've got to cross the road, Tariq,
Yes.
what do?
Okay, so if I'm on the footpath and I have to cross the road,
Yep.
me, I like waiting for the crossings. But let's say I look left and I look right and there's no crossing, I stop and I make sure there's no cars here and I make sure there's no cars there and then I cross the road. And when I do it, I sometimes get off my bike and push my bike. Because if you're riding, you can fall over because you get a little bit nervous, it's not safe.
That's a really good question. So if I get to a crossing where there's the push button,
Yes?
I stop, push the button like a pedestrian.
Like a pedestrian.
Okay.
And it's better to get off your bike and just walk across.
And if I'm riding on the road, I follow the traffic
You
lights.
follow the traffic light, exactly right.
Okay. One more question, guys? Yes. Do you want to help him? Why do you need to wear that clothes? Okay.
Why do you need to wear the clothes like when you go to a light?
That's a really good question. We'll make this last question, Tariq. They're saying if you've got all the lights, why do you still need to wear the high vis?
Okay, because you want to stand out as much as possible. Now, on my helmet, I've even got a light right at the top over here. The battery died, so I need to put a new battery in. But you want to make sure the car can see you 100%. Let's say your light is at the bottom and there's a car parked. Sometimes the car can block the light. Or maybe your shirt blocks the light. Or maybe your saddlebag blocks the light. Or maybe the person driving is not looking down, he's just looking up and he doesn't pay attention to the light. So if you've got your high visibility closing and the light on, that way everybody can see you and you are as safe as you possibly can be.
Okay, we want to first of all thank Brother Tariq for coming out today and teaching us about safety. As you know, guys, I think what I learned and what we all learned from today is you can have fun, but what comes first?
Safety!
Safety always comes first. And I mean, if you end up not respecting safety and hurting yourself and ending up in hospital, hands up if you think that's going to be fun. No, there you go. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't like needles. So guys, we're going to thank Tariq with a big clap. Let's give him a thank you. For coming out and helping us today. Now Tariq is going to stay here and he's going to demonstrate anything you want to know about the bike and changing. Who's hungry?
Yay!
Okay, we want to thank you all for watching, and anyone that wants to come and join our youth program every week, it's every Saturday between 6:30 and 8:30. We're going to cut the camera down now because we're going to go down and eat from the super yummy barbecue. Brother Tariq, thank you very much for coming, and we really appreciate it. God bless you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.